What is going on, everybody? Bronze Gratification here. In today's video, we're going to be discussing, is Baker Mayfield dangerous again? So we're just gonna talk about the stats from the 2018 season, and then from this season. So just to begin with, this is from the 2018 season, through his first 7 games, starting from the Jets, and I forgot what the last game there was. So he had a total yards of 1,768 total yards with a 60% completion rate. 10 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Average yards per attempt was 6.78, and he was sacked a total of 22 times for about 3 per game. Now remember, this was through the first 7 games of the 2018 year, so um, we didn't, Baker didn't start off too good. This was all the way up until the Kansas City game, if I'm remembering correctly. This is where I'm taking the stats from. Um, and remember, the new coaching with Greg Williams and Freddie Kitchens didn't take off until that first Kansas City game, and then afterwards, that's when we saw Baker become a completely different person. So if we look at the first 7 games of this year, not too great. So if we look at the next 7 from 2019, if let me show you that now, the first 7. 2019 first 7 games, total yards of 1,690, completion percentage of 57.6, 6 to 12 touchdown to interception ratio, 7.3 yards per attempt, sacked been total of 21 times. That's 3 sacks per game. So a huge difference in completion percentage wise, and a touchdown to interception ratio. So play calling was bad. Baker played bad. Had to find our identity. Didn't get OBJ the ball enough. Um, and just as a team, we were lacking. Besides defensively, which has been inconsistent, but mostly consistent, I would say, if that makes sense. Um, but then, as you guys can see, when I show you guys the stats from the last 7 or 9, whatever games it was, Baker Mayfield turned into a completely different person, and I'll show you that with this upcoming stat. So these are the final 7 games of the 2018 year. So he had a total of 1,957 yards, completion percentage of 78, 17 to 7 touchdown interception ratio, 9 yards per attempt, and sacked 3 times with less than half a sack per game. Now, if we compare that to these last 3 recent games, um, 700 yards, 62 and a half, 62.5 completion percentage, 5 to 0 touchdown in a ratio, touchdown to interception ratio. Sorry, 6.26 yards per attempt and sacked 5 times with a 1.6 sacks per game. Now these are just the most 3 recent games we've had. These are going back from, if I can remember, Denver, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh. I would have added the New England game. I just said, we'll just throw that in for the first 7. So, as you can see, Baker, it looks like Baker's starting to pick it up. Really, against New England, maybe I should have added to the stat. He had 1 interception. In the last 4 games, he had 1 interception. That was against New England with that horrible shovel pass, which I don't know if you really could call it his fault. Blocking sucked there. But if we so New England didn't do too bad, had a 64.5 completion percentage. Against Denver, pretty good defense, really good defense actually. Had 1 touchdown, 64% completion rate. And then Buffalo, a top 5 defense for sure. 2 touchdowns he threw for a 68% completion rate. And then Pittsburgh, another top 5 defense, didn't do too great completion wise, but had 2 touchdowns as well, and actually ran for a touchdown, so that's 3 total. I'm just adding, sorry, passing touchdown wise in this stat. So, from the looks of it, from last year, these last 7, 8, whatever games is where Baker really starts to shine. Kind of sucks though. Like, you want to find consistency throughout the year. Last year, you kind of got to give him a pass. Play calling wasn't great. We had Hugh Jackson, his first year in the league. Don't worry about that. I thought he was going to pick up from the last 8 games, and then move it into the first 8 and for the rest of the season. But that's not how it's working. Play calling again hasn't been great. Um, I mean, Freddie Kitchens been questionable as a coach. I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm gonna make a video pretty soon. I think tomorrow, 2 days, whatever it's gonna be, about 5 coaching candidates I would want instead of Freddie Kitchens. But that'll be coming up pretty soon. So yeah, there's those are the stats. We'll see. We're facing Miami. Underrated defense, not too bad. Don't want to take them lightly because they are, they won 2 games so far when people thought they were going to win 0 games. So don't want to underestimate them. Myles Garrett, though, looks like he's going to be out for the rest of the season. He's going to appeal his suspension, though. I don't think he'll be unsuspended for the rest of the season. I think he's just going to be looking to play week 1 again for next year. We're going to be out Larry Ogunjobi, too, so we got to pick it up defensively, but I think Devaroh Lawrence should have a pretty good game against Miami. Since they lost Laramie Tunsil, so blocking won't be too great. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe, and peace.